Gordon, I can't hear you.
Here we go. Now you can hear me, right?
Yay, yes.
Can you do me a favor and just text me cases 28, 32, 33, and 34, who's representing those?
I don't have that here.
No, because I kind of would need that because I don't remember. And
Okay.
I've asked that be done so I know who to bother.
Okay.
I didn't have a chance to look it up myself.
I know Harris is Martin Mills.
That's 2 weeks in advance. So there won't be any more. We've had 2 public hearings already. Tonight there won't be one. We're just going to be having 1 hearing today, and we're not voting on anything. So we're having a hearing on the parcel that will used to be the mobile station. That's going to be the extent of the meeting tonight. And you're all welcome to stay and speak on that when we get to public hearing. And if we do are going to speak on that, we're going to keep it short. Since I didn't get a 20, ask you.
Oh, okay, yes. I want to get a lot of resistance from that.
Martin says it's coming.
I
I don't know if, so Martin has been appointed for the board and Steve is, well, Steve, that is an alternate.
I saw that.
I have to get his number. I have it.
Michelle has it.
Oh, yeah, we'll get it. We'll get that together. Where did it go?
Are we zooming? Joe is zooming?
Joe?
Zooming.
You'll be zooming.
Hey,
How you doing?
how are you?
It's a happy new year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Forgot that happened.
Oh, wait.
So long ago, right? Long time ago.
So far, so good, right?
Yeah. It was snowing when even I left the house.
What kind of a spoon do we want?
Okay. Hey guys, just gonna do the opening a little differently tonight. It's gonna take a roll call first off.
Michael Castiglione. Martin Mills.
Jude Salado.
And
Joseph
I'm-
Bellick. Joseph Bellick.
And Stephen? Want to log in?
Yeah, Stephen Taub.
Thank you. And Gordon Wem. Speaking for the Woodstock ZBA for a meeting scheduled tonight, January 11, 2024, in light of the fact that the Woodstock Town Board has not appointed yet a chair for the calendar year 2024, I propose to the board that I, Gordon Wem, continue at said post for the entirety of this meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay. So, we're gonna call meet order. We have a quorum. We have 4 in person, 1 on Zoom, and our newest member, Stephen Taub, our alternate. Good to have you, Stephen,
Thank you.
and Martin Mills, our newest voting member. Okay, so, and here we go. Let's see. Hold on 1 second.
Might have to make your announcement again.
Huh?
Might
Why?
have to make it, because there's more people now.
I will. I told him I'd probably make it more than once.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yep.
Don't worry. Can we have a little quiet, please? If you want to be here, you can be here. But, okay, I just got to do a little thing here. I hate Zoom. Okay. There we go. That's better. Getting a little echo on there. Michelle, are you back online? Looks like it. She's moving. Okay.
Yes.
Great, well, welcome back. Okay, I'd like to submit the minutes for December 14th, 2023 for approval. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. I'm gonna make a quick announcement again. I made it before. We're not opening the Bob Hulsapple case. He's just on the decisions and orders and interpretations outstanding. We have until February 14th to render that decision. It'll most likely be sometime in February before that decision is rendered. You're allowed to leave if you took the time to write a letter, I put a little box over there, you can put it right in there. You can email the town board at zba@woodstocknewyork.org. They get immediately forward to all the members on the board. And that's all I can say about Bob Hulsapple case tonight. I couldn't open it if I wanted to, because we have to advertise for a public hearing 2 weeks in advance. So, and we've already had 2 of those. We have two meetings, previous meetings are on YouTube. And if you have trouble finding those, doing a Google search, you can always email zba@woodstocknewyork.org and ask for a link, and I'm sure you'll get one rather quickly. Michelle's very good at that, so thank you. And with that, we're gonna move on to our public hearing schedule for tonight. ZBA case 24-01, application of Craig Leonard and Thomas Pace for the property located at 39 Millville Road, Woodstock, New York, 12498. A 0.50 acre parcel located within an HC zoning district for the variances from the zoning law of the town of Woodstock. Article 4, area and bulk regulations, section 260-16, attachment 2, 8C, column B, so as to exceed the 25% allowable maximum structure coverage and to allow an increase of the allowable 35-foot height. And Article 6, special permit uses 260-63M1, so as not to increase the required lot by 1,500 square feet per room. And Article 6, special permit uses 260-63M6 to allow the structure coverage to exceed 15% of the lot area in order to construct a 3-story, 19-room hotel with cafe and restaurant. Who do I have representing the case tonight? Come on up to the table. When you get settled, state your name and address, and we'll get rolling.
Hi, I'm Craig Leonard, 30 Daniel Road in Shady is my address, and
Tom Pace, 39 Sheldon Hurl.
Thank you. Okay, you want to give us your pitch?
sure, let me get started.
Thank you.
Firstly, I do want to say a couple of those things in what you read out about what we're requesting are not completely accurate.
Okay,
We are not requesting a building to be higher than the 35 feet that is allowed in Woodstock. The 35 feet is ample for what we're looking to build. we are requesting that, as it's a hotel, it will need a special use permit. So what we're requesting is, instead of, we're requesting that we can keep the 25%. We're not looking to exceed the 25% of what anyone else would build in that, on that lot, as far as maximum square footage structure. But we do, as we know, a special use permit is limited to 15%, and we're looking to keep it at a normal 25% of whatever else is, what anyone else would build there.
Well, normal in terms of the cafe and other businesses.
Yeah, other businesses.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not normal.
Not normal for a hotel.
Not normal for a hotel.
And that's why we're looking for that,
Thank you.
to be built.
Okay.
The other request is that the third floor, we're looking to have, so we're not looking to build something higher than anything else that's allowable in the hamlet, but we are looking to have a third floor on the structure instead of the 2.5 floors that is allowed in Woodstock. And basically, it wouldn't necessarily be a full third floor. It would, the reason we're asking for this is it would just give us far more options in a design arena to be able to build something that's more interesting. It would give us some more square footage. And it's no more than what you see at, I think it's the structure that the Garden Cafe in town is in. I'm not quite sure if I remember their address. It's Valley Forge Road, is that?
Old Forge.
Huh? Old Forge Road, number 6, Old Forge Road. They are a full three structure property, and the property behind that at 5 Rock City Road was actually 3.5 story structure. So this is certainly no larger than something that's already precedent in the town. So that would be our other request for variance, that we would not be limited to 2 of the walls being half of the size of the second floor. I believe that's what the statute says, that the third floor or the attic floor can only have 2 walls that are half the size of the second floor. And that's what we're looking to waive from the variance. And the third variance on a special use permit is I don't know which particular what it's called but I read something somewhere that says that for a hotel, we can only have 1 room per 1,500 square feet of the lot size on a special use permit. That's what I believe I read. And that would only give us 14 rooms. And as you know, we're looking for 19 rooms to make this commercially viable and give us a varied amount of types of rooms. So we're also looking for a variance in that regard, instead of 14, 19 rooms. That is it in regards to variances. Parking for the hotel, we have given you a site plan which shows that we can get parking in the rear of the hotel, of the structure, for all the residents or guests of the hotel. So the guests of the hotel would have a parking spot. And we're also hoping actually that, not all guests have to have cars. I mean, we are going to be right in town. People can take the bus from the city. They can get off right in town, and they can spend their time in our town for a night, a weekend, whatever it is. and be able to leave from the bus, so they don't have to have a car. But obviously, a lot of people will have cars, but we will have parking for those people. Trying to think if there's anything, what else am I thinking of? We're also hoping that the 19 rooms, just to put it out there, will alleviate some of the dependence, it seems, on STRs. If there's more hotel rooms in town, we think there'll be less of a need for STRs in general purposes. I mean, I know when I have people, friends who come to visit, they're always having a hard time finding a hotel room, and they have to rent a whole house, and that's not what everybody's always looking to do. And hopefully there will be less people inclined to turn their houses into SDR. I think that covers it. Was there any? Yeah, I think that pretty much covers what we're looking to do. You know, we sent you something which is we take you some drawings, which is just a potential proposal of what the structure could look like, and the floors, and what would happen on the lot. But in truth, we're looking to do a real drawing of what would be there once we know what we're allowed to build. And, you know, it's expensive to work with architects, and you don't want to go to that expense and then say, oh, no, you're not allowed, that's not what you can build. So we're looking to find out what it is size-wise that we're allowed to build before we do a final drawing of what, a proposed drawing for what we would like to put there. But this gives you just some idea of its size density and how it would fit. And, you know, I mean, I have other businesses in town. You know, Woodstock is where I live. I've lived here for 17 years. This would also bring an expected 25 to 40 new jobs in town, depending on the season. We're already an employer in town of between 80 and up to 100 people in the summer from our current businesses. So we understand the need for jobs, and a lot of our employees have been with us for a very long time, and they're happy working with us. And this would just bring more of that to the community. And also, I just want to say, I know it's known that I am a part owner of the two restaurants, Sylvia and Goodnight. And this project is not with my other three partners from those businesses. This is a separate thing from that business. This is a partnership between myself and Tom, who we've known each other many years. Tom has lived here for like 10 years. We're in the community. Our kids go to school here. I mean, we love Woodstock, and we just want to make it, you know, want to add something to the community that we feel people would like, and a business that people would enjoy and be proud of, like hopefully our restaurants that, you know, I have had a tremendous amount of people reach out to me once they heard about this through posting, and somebody mentioned it online, and I've been overwhelmed with the positive support that I've received from so many people. It's been quite heartwarming, to be honest. But so anyway, that's what we're looking to do. And if you, of course, have any questions for us regarding that, please ask away.
Can I see what your application for variance? Do we have that?
You should have that.
I don't have.
Yeah, Michael Ray. We'll do that, okay? I'll ask a couple questions later.
Sure, thank you.
Because when speaking with, I haven't studied this building, so I'm speaking with the building inspector. He had said more like in the realm of 8 rooms. You're saying that 13 would be allowable. Why 19? Except for just, it's more proper, it's more easy to make it work.
Yeah, to be honest, it's a very difficult undertaking. And, you know, this is a large financial expenditure to do something like this, of which we will have to borrow money from the bank to do, and that bank has to be paid back, and we have to pay employees as well as we can. And, you know, we just did the math that really anything less than 19 rooms makes it extremely tight and very difficult.
Okay, I don't want to take all the good questions away, so I'm gonna let the rest of my board chime in. Jude, I'm sure you have some.
I'm a little confused.
Sure.
I'm not an architect. So you're allowed 35 feet.
Yeah.
Which you said is basically 2.5 stories.
Yeah.
So how are you making that 3 full stories? I'm a little confused by what you're asking, what you're allowed.
Sure. Well, to make it a half a story on the top, the statute says that you can only have 2 walls that are half the size of the floor below.
Like something that would fit inside a roof structure.
Yeah, so it could be a gabled roof. But in a hotel situation, the roofs, the ceilings have to be a certain height for the room. So something a little flatter at some point, some part of the building would make sense for how the building would work for a hotel. And then also, as I said, it won't necessarily have to be 3 full floors, but we want to be able to build a certain amount of the structure as the wall to be as high as the 2nd floor, for example. If that's you.
So you're talking about a flat roof.
Yeah, did you see the drawing?
I did.
Okay.
I'm just trying to clarify.
So, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Well, no, it doesn't have to be a flat roof. It may be just part of it would be flat.
gotcha.
And as I say,
So we understand these are preliminary.
they're preliminaries, they're not final things. So that would be something we worked on with an architect. And then, so if we are allowed what we're asking for, would be able to have a broader range of what we're able to do. And as far as how the structure looks, you know, looks is really important for us and the town. And if we're limited to the 2.5 structures as in the statute, then it really does limit what we can do. And honestly, it's not that interesting or pretty. And you know, we want to make it look good.
Is there going to be any outdoor space aside for the dining patio for guests?
There will be we're hoping to put, depending on the room, but we're hoping we will have downstairs rooms on the floor level, and we're hoping to put small little patio gardens in those rooms. Those will be handicapped accessible rooms, and we're hoping to have a small outdoor space for each of those rooms. I think there's 3 rooms downstairs. So like a small garden, just basically landscaping. You know, not a communal space, just small sitting areas for guests.
And then, I mean, as far as the 3rd floor, have you considered some sort of sloped roofing? Because, you know, there is something to be said about some character to a room that has like a sloped roof, and it can add, you know.
Yes,
add a little bit
we're considering everything. I mean, we're open to working with whatever architect we finally choose for the job. But as I was just explaining, like hotel rooms, I think there's some statute with the state where hotel rooms have to be a certain height. So a sloping roof might not necessarily work inside that those confines. It may. That's why I need a flat roof, because I mean, we can still have a sloping roof as part of the roof, but it wouldn't have to be necessarily where there is a room.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be interested to learn more about that, because there might be an opportunity for, let's say, part of the bathroom or closets to be in a sloped area, and this way you're not having a full 3rd story flat roof.
Yeah, we're open to that, and honestly, we will be working with the architect. We're gonna want the roof to look interesting and different. We don't, the idea of just a straight flat roof is not what I'm looking to achieve. I want something that will be visually interesting, but so I should imagine there'll be some part of it sloped.
Can I ask you to comment on why you don't think what you're proposing would significantly change the character of the town and area where you're proposing it?
Why I don't think it would change the character of the town?
Correct.
Yeah, in that neighborhood where it's being built, yeah.
And the neighborhood, the location where you're putting it. That's one of the things that we consider is the impact of the variance request.
Sure. Well, as I did state, there are two other structures that are half a block away that are exactly like it. So it wouldn't be any different to those structures. And you know, the building's not really fully designed yet, but so we would make effort to make sure that it fit well into the character of the town. Does that answer your question?
I mean, it's an answer. It's not one that I find particularly satisfactory because, you know, you're asking us to approve something and then you're working out the details afterwards.
Oh, I'm asking you to, sure, go ahead, sorry.
You know, once we give you the variance, you have it. And then, you know, what you're actually going to do is not, I think, entirely clear, as you can tell by the questions and the answers you're giving. So,
that's because it's not fully designed yet, and we're assuming that we would still have to put that design to the planning board, and would still have to go through approvals process.
Well, one of the things, Joe, if I might just sort of carry on with that for a second, if that's okay?
of course.
So it's a little different what you were talking about, but with this structure, you're talking about 25 to 40 employees. Let's just take the low number for 25. How many diners do you predict to be, you know, on an average basis?
Sure.
You would house in the cafe?
Well, it's difficult to say how large the cafe will be because we don't know how large the structure will be. No, in the ballpark, we are looking for 65 to maybe up to 100 with the outside seating in the summer.
So, yeah, we have 65, and that's another, we're talking about another 100 bodies beside the 40 plus in the rooms. You know, just 2 plus with maybe, you know, 50 people. So we're talking about, no, 150 people in that location. So I'm just trying to get what's the traffic and the amount, you know, I'm not trying to go for the high numbers. It's not going to be constant. I understand that.
That is a high end, and
100 people. Okay, well, it'd be 100, but we have parking for the rooms. We have no parking for the employees of the diners either. So that's something that's
true.
Probably not even from us, but moving forward to the plan.
You'll be required to have employee parking, and also you want to make sure that.
Well, not necessarily, because there is no employee parking for numerous businesses on that street.
I'm sure for a hotel, you do need to have employee parking.
Not with Subway, for example.
Please, not yet, yeah.
Okay.
Well, that obviously will be looked at with.
I'm just putting it out there, but it is
we understand that, and that there will be people who are using the facilities, the cafe, who will not have parking. But that can be said too for the Mud Club right next door to us, the Garden Cafe, or pretty much every other.
Well, if you were just doing a cafe, you wouldn't be here right now.
Right.
So there's that.
Yeah,
I do want to check on this. You had mentioned that you were allowed 14 rooms. The building inspector said 8 rooms.
yeah, I don't know where he came up with that number, I swear.
We'll have to double check.
Yeah, double check with him. Because either way, 14 or 8 doesn't matter. It doesn't mean, it means that the project wouldn't really happen.
All right.
But
Fair enough.
I don't know where he came up with.
All right, well then it's moved in a sense, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where he came
But I
up
mean,
with
it does make some weight, I mean, if it's only 8 and you're asking for 3 times that amount, that's.
No, no, that's true. So it is important. So it is important.
We'll look into that.
I think the statute is 1,500, 1 room per 1,500 square feet of the lot. The lot is 22,000 square feet, so that's 14 and a half rooms.
But I don't know if the cafe comes into that calculation anyway.
No, because it's rooms. This is,
Do we subtract that from the lot?
I don't think it says that in
Okay,
what I read in the
so we'll have to look
statute,
into
but
it,
you
yeah.
can look at.
Yeah, but it does make a difference here. You see what I'm saying?
No, 100%.
If this is a half acre lot, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
So that would be 21,780 square feet.
It's a little bit,
I think
Ted.
it's 22,000 is what it is
Yeah.
on the,
What's
on the survey.
On the survey, it's
Yeah.
22,000,
okay.
so 22,000 times 0.25 is 5,500 square feet. And this says 6,285 square feet for 25% lot coverage.
That's not my handwriting.
This says 5,200 square feet.
Yeah, but I'm looking at the application.
Right.
And the application says 6,285 square feet.
The building?
Yes.
Who wrote that? Yeah, can I, if I can see that,
Yeah, I'd be happy.
yeah, I don't,
There's no copies of it, but what I need
Sure.
to have is the application correct.
yes, well, the application is 25% of the 22,000 square feet. That's what we're looking for. That's not my handwriting. I don't know who wrote that in there or who did that calculation,
Okay.
but that's not what we're requesting.
Well, it's hard to tell what you're.
I understand.
I mean, I think we can work off the 25, and I understand the basics here. 25% is what would be allowed at the cafe, 15% would be allowed of the hotel
Yes,
moving forward. So, and you're asking basically for the 25% of the entire structure.
yeah,
You know.
25% for this, for the footprint of the structure.
Okay. Do we have any other questions from the board? Zoom board,
Yeah,
real board?
yes, can you hear me?
Doesn't sound like a board member, no, we're not talking about, we're not going to the public yet.
Okay,
Okay. Well, this looks like maybe going soon.
Yeah, I guess I was gonna ask about 2-story flat roofed buildings in Woodstock. They look like a 3-story building. Are there others? I know you talked about the Old Forge Road, that building with the upstairs porch
Yep.
and the gabled roof, but are there other
Woodstock
structures that are gonna look like that?
Woodstock Way is what it is.
The Colony and the pub. The
Mhm.
Colony was very.
3-story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
very old
and
building.
that's much taller, a much
Yeah.
bigger structure than us. And then the building right next to us is 2.5, but it's gabled. It's an unusual structure,
Yeah.
you know, so I mean, there are lots of structures up and down that are 2.5.
Mhm.
But, you know, there are some that are flat roof 3 that I mentioned, and I'm sure there are others actually, that I haven't gone around checking every building in town. I know this one on, I don't know the name.
Well, I'm talking about that stretch, because that's the main entry into.
Yeah, so that's why I brought
They're
up,
off on-
that's why I brought up those 2, that those are 2 that I know for sure, and
Yeah.
I haven't really gone up and down studying all the other
Okay.
buildings.
Sunflower, the whole sunflower.
That's
the whole
like, that's
mall.
like 2.5.
Across the street, these.
There's lots of flowers.
Yep.
We're not the CDC.
No, I know, that's a whole different.
Well, it has to do with both, right?
So for example, when I was getting at what I was saying that it wouldn't necessarily be all flat roofed, isn't what we're asking for. Like that building on Old Forge Road that I was discussing, like they have a gable front, you know, which I quite like. It's in making the town, and then behind the gable front, it's slightly elevated to a flat roof. So that's just one example. I mean, maybe we can do a variation, something at a slant, something at a flat, you know, that I just want to know what we're able to build, and then we can do something with the architects to make something interesting.
Just up front, you're asking for a big precedent for us to set here, and without a really compelling argument to why, aesthetics aside, it's gonna be a tough road. That's just my experience. I'm only one vote, so I'm just
Sure.
speaking from my experience and I just wanted to let you know.
Well,
Because, you know, when we set a precedent like that,
no,
we're gonna be getting we'll be getting them the next day for 3 stories.
I understand.
That's a tough one.
I do understand that.
Yeah, I just wanted to be clear on that.
Right, and
Well, we're gonna do our due diligence and look into everything we mentioned here. And you know, and move forward. Jude, did you still want to take lead on this?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay.
We all vote, so we all discuss. I'm just one person.
Well, we just get one person to do
To do the
the
labor.
heavy work. The big lifting, but we all work together
all
as
right.
much as we can. All right, so with that, I guess I'm gonna go to the public.
Sure.
Michelle, can you read the contiguous neighbors? What we're gonna do here tonight is we're gonna start with the contiguous neighbors. They get to speak first. And hold on, unless you gotta go to the bathroom. We're not taking anybody to talk right now. We're not doing Mr. Holsapple if you weren't here earlier. We're just doing this hotel right now. So we are gonna go to the public, and if anybody wishes to speak, I might get a show of hands so I have an idea how long I'm gonna be here and how much time I'm gonna allow you to talk. Because if it's only 5 people raise their hand, they might get a little more time, but if everybody raises their hand, then we're gonna keep it really short. Because we do tend to get a lot of repetition and areas that we don't even cover or consider. So, Michelle,
All right.
contiguous neighbors, after we read the list, we'll go back to the first one that's mentioned on the list. They get to speak first, and so on, down the list. Michelle?
William DeVoe, 10 Mowers Lane in Woodstock, 4345 Mill Hill Road LLC, 35 Mill Hill Realty LLC, Woodstock RE Partners LLC, and 42 Mill Hill Road LLC, Michael Brody on 34 Mill Hill Road, and KCMC Grumblatt Law Office on 9 Mowers Lane.
Okay. Mr. DeVoe, or anybody representing Mr. DeVoe?
Is Helen DeVoe?
Hi, Helen.
Hi. We own the house next door and behind, like there's a big drop off on the property that goes down to where we actually live. My son, his wife, and 4 kids, and my daughter, her husband, and 2 kids live right behind where they want to propose this. The house that's there now that they live in is only 1.5 stories. And we just really feel that 3 stories, you're going to have a hotel looking down in the whole backyard. There's like no privacy at all if they do 3 stories. 2 stories I can see, but the house there is only 1.5 stories. The second half where my daughter is, that's only 1 story with the basement underneath. And we're also concerned about the parking. It's, first of all, there would have to be some kind of barrier between like the yard and the parking, and it's supposed to be a 10-foot buffer. We're concerned about the road. It's a 1-lane road that already, when people want to pull out and somebody's pulling in, you have to pull up into the part of Catskill Art parking lot to let the other car in. So, I mean, right there, there's like the issue of like, people just don't follow signs. I know that because our driveway comes out next to the pet food store and people just park at the end of it we have to go and find the people in order to get out of our driveway. And they're like, oh, we didn't know that continued on, even though it does. So, you know, that's a big issue for us, like 3 stories and just, you know, and the road itself, you know, are they gonna be able to keep the road, people off of this 1-lane road? Like, you know, this is a residential neighborhood there with kids. Like, it's not businesses behind us. And we, like I said, we definitely don't want to have 3 stories where like everybody's just looking down in the backyard into the house. That's just rude.
Okay, Helen, thank you. We had a couple of LLCs, I didn't catch the names, but I'm sure you remember if you're next. Anybody, contiguous neighbors, want to speak?
We're 11 Hours Lane. We're directly across the street from Helen, who just spoke. And I have a few words to say.
Could you say your name and address for the record?
Yep, Clara Flores Reininger, and us 3, we live at 11 Hours Lane.
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, I want to say, following what Helen said, 3 stories is kind of weird and creepy for a hotel to be in the center of town. Lots of families live right behind there. And like, there's a bar next door that has a club, it has strippers, it has pole dancing, and that's right next to a hotel. Hotel plus bar, that's gonna be a whole night scene right there, first of all. And there's young families, there's children. We range from 1-year-old to 87-year-old back there. We all make humble livings. We have to be up early for school and wait at the end of that road at the bus stop. It's just kind of creepy that I used to run around that street naked as a kid. And I think it's kind of creepy that there's going to be a 3rd story of random people 24/7, 7 days a week that are just going to be there. Like, couldn't it be a business that's 9 to 5, like everything else? Like, there's something that serves the community that, like, I can't even think of one Woodstocker that would be like, oh, what's going to be there? A hotel? Yay, I can't wait to see it. Like, can you imagine any Woodstocker saying that, first of all? No, you can't. Third of all, I know this is going to be some type of luxury hotel that is inaccessible to all of us, as most new things in town happen to be, like the Woodstock Way hotel retreat place. I used to be able to see that stream and look at that waterfall. No longer can do that. I'm called a trespasser for going there into that near that stream that I've gone to my whole entire life. And first of all, where do we usually find hotels? Right? Where do we find them? We find them in plazas, strip malls, on the middle of the main road, far away from anyone, like Hotel Dillon. We don't find them on your road. Would you want a hotel, 3-story hotel next to your house, where your children live, where your grandchildren live? I don't think anyone would want that. Not at all. Yeah, it's just kind of disturbing to think the town would allow a 3-story hotel right next to homes where children have pools, run around naked. This is like a residential place. You don't put a hotel there. You put it far out of town. I don't think anyone wants this here, and I think you should not allow this.
Thank you. Strippers, how are we, Pottersville now?
Well, can I just say one thing?
It's real fire too.
In answer to that, there would not be a scene going on there. It's basically the cafe is a daytime business. It would be over around 5 o'clock at night. 5 or 6.
To a hotel, I'd like to know.
Okay, we're not gonna do any crosstalk here tonight.
Yeah, is that a public store?
I'm still doing the contiguous neighbors, okay?
Oh, we live together.
Okay, go ahead.
No.
What's your name, please?
Corinne Flores Reininger. I live at 11 Hours Lane. 20 years, raised my kids there. The small residential neighborhood.
Yeah, we're familiar.
I figured. Then you know it's a 1-lane road, and sometimes in the summer we have to wait 10 minutes to pull out. And clearly, anybody who's familiar with our hamlet is aware that 40 guests, 100 diners is ludicrous. Where are we going to put them, and why would we want to? Who is this going to serve? You know, 3 stories, it doesn't fit with the character of the town. I mean, we don't have parking, we have to, if we have a couple of guests, we have to juggle cars to fit. How are we gonna park for a hotel? And more importantly, why would we want to? How does this serve our community? It's hard to move around now, especially in the summer. And I question if we need 20 hotel rooms in the middle of town. And, or yet another 100-seat restaurant, you know, in a resident, you know, if people live there, that's our home. And, you know, Mike and Anthony, it was a community business. They had one open house every holiday and welcomed us in. They knew our kids and they went and got candy there. They kept an eye on them on the bus stop. It was part of the community. And like, I feel like our town deserves to be part of the community. We're not just a tourist trap. We have people and families who live here. And we should have things that normal towns have, you know, to serve the people who actually live here, who are from here, the Woodstockers. I think it's wonderful that people want to come and visit. I love their dogs, you know, and I think it's great. You know, we came here once.
Our pets allowed?
There will be pets allowed.
It's too much. It needs to be reasonable, and clearly it's not. Who is this benefit? You know, I think that the people of the town, you know, I don't think we should sell out. We're a really special, magical place.
Okay, Corinne, thanks. Appreciate it.
And I
Okay.
trust you to ask in our benefit and to listen and to not let this happen. It's an aberration.
We're listening. Thank you.
Gordon, could you just see if people can hear?
Can you people hear on Zoom and Zoom World? I see a thumbs up from Michelle.
Okay, good.
Okay. Any other contiguous neighbors? Can I get a raise of hand by people who want to talk on this topic tonight? Okay. We'll start from over here.
And Gordon, just to let you
Rebecca?
know, there are 2 people online that would like to speak as well.
Okay, great, thank you.
Lifelong resident, love Mike and Anthony, don't love seeing an empty building.
Name and address, please. Yes, for the record.
Rebecca Terman, 409 Elwyn Drive, Woodstock, New York. Also have a store in the center of town. I hate seeing the mobile station empty. It's sad for me to look at it. I think that people that live in Woodstock, as these 2 gentlemen do, who I do not know, want to possibly build something. And they live here, they're full-time residents. I applaud them for it. Somebody has a better idea for that property, maybe they should have bought it, and maybe they should come up with a plan. As far as flat roofs, I'm just gonna throw it out there, Colony, flat roof. H. House and Sons, over half of it is a flat roof, Corner Cupboard, flat roof, Freeville Pottery, flat roof, Gene Termo Limited, flat roof. So we do have a precedent for not having a gables roof. I don't.
3 stories.
What?
3 stories?
No, they're 2.5, but what he's talking about in the 3-story, and it's still under the 35 feet. I think people get an idea from building, and I am not a builder. So I would defer to smart building people here, but this project sounds bigger to people. I was married for 17 years to an engineer. This project sounds bigger to people than in reality it actually is. I'm not opposed to it. I do take issue that some kind of remediation probably needs to be done as far as parking and also blocking contiguous neighbors that are not on the main street. However, that property is on the main street of Woodstock. It would also be incredibly beneficial. I look at the people coming on and off the bus every day. We have a tremendous amount of them. They are coming without their cars. It would be easier for people who came up from New York City to shop and stay overnight. It would be very easy for them to be able to do that. It also possibly takes away from the Airbnb extravaganza that we have with people that don't live in Woodstock, buying houses, being absentee landlords, having hotel rooms basically in residential neighborhoods. So I consider that a plus. I don't think it's unreasonable. I don't know, it's been a long time since I looked at our zoning laws and the variance process. I know it's unusual to ask for a variance before they've done all of the paperwork, but some kind of tentative possibility that sounded constructive is not unreasonable to give them, being the fact that it is going to cost them honestly tens of thousands of dollars for architectural plans. You know, and I, what, the last thing I would throw out there, I hear a lot of, well, you know, these people have money, so whatever. I don't have any particular money. I've lived in Woodstock my whole life. I find that attitude, I don't care whether you're rich or poor, you still have a right to come up with a creative idea and it may be beautiful, so I don't have a problem with it. And some Main Street in Woodstock and a small hotel is actually gonna probably look nicer than a gas station that I actually do hysterically. And we're not gonna get another gas station there. But so often in Woodstock, we've had a history for 30 years of cutting off our nose to spite our face. Cumberland Farms got as a result of a local person who lived here wanted to pay his gas station, and he wanted to put a little car wash, and everybody went, oh, no, car wash would be ugly. That lovely building in Cumberland Farms, we would have been better off letting a local, this little single car wash on there. We might not have gotten ugly Cumberland Farms with the broken ceiling. We said time and time again, we saw Grand Union wanted to expand, fix their building. No, I'm sorry, I'll hurry. Everybody did the same exact thing. No, we know best, even though we don't own grocery stores. We put it, now we don't have a grocery store except for something, we lost our grocery store. And at one point had 3 pharmacies. That made a lot of sense. No, it didn't. So I would ask the zoning board to at least give them a preliminary idea if they could do something, because I think it would be worthwhile. So I am speaking in favor of it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir.
Good evening. My name is Adam Wolbarst, 148 Tinker. I'm the owner of the Irwood Inn in town. So I speak on behalf of some of the actual hotel owners in town. I would tell you from the last few years of owning the hotel, there are definitely a lot of challenges of operating within Woodstock. To Mr. Pace and Mr. Leonard, I applaud you on your attempt to get another hotel built. I also applaud you on Sylvia and Goodnight. I think Mr. Leonard really nailed it when he said it's a very difficult undertaking. Between construction costs and financing, it is extraordinarily challenging to get a project of this magnitude, and not that it's a huge magnitude, off the ground. But in regards to, you can imagine, this is going to add new competition for myself and other small business owners and other hotel owners in the area. And just to speak, because, you know, in terms of the conditions of the hotel market in this area, it's extraordinarily challenging to run a profitable business here as a hotel. We lose money 4 to 5 months of the year to make it back in the summer. Probably season kicks off Memorial Day, goes until Labor Day. We have a little bit of drop off. October picks up a little bit. But because of the high cost of living here, we have to pay people an extraordinary amount of wages in order for them to come in town with the gas. Utilities have been going up through the roof, 10, 20% every year. The cost of customer acquisition through marketing means, through paying Booking and Expedia, they're increasing fees. Trying to get people to fill those rooms is extraordinarily expensive. We have a high cost of financing. Our mortgage is tremendous. My liability insurance to cover the end jumped by 30% this year to my pleasure. In addition, in Hudson Valley, I think it's no shock, and everyone knows that there's a ton of new boutique hotels opening. And really what's happened is that during COVID, people flocked here because they couldn't travel internationally, and they brought their money along with them and invested in restoring old motels, expanding existing ones, buying out old owners. In the last few years, we've seen Woodstock Way expand. We know that Lasher, in their site plan, has additional hotel rooms. We have the pending potential of Woodstock National, Woodstock Gardens, which is otherwise the Calamar Lane Hotel. We have Auto Camp, which is a huge entity based out of California investing in the area. It pulls people away from our hotel. We also have Mirabu on the high end, right on Rhinebeck. So competition's growing and the margins are continuing to shrink. You know, I respect these two individuals, but I think the last thing we need is a new hotel. Truthfully, this will probably potentially put me out of business or thin my margins to a point where it's just not worth it to invest further in Woodstock. You know, and I know in terms of zoning, it's not a question of if a hotel can be built here, but more a question of size. So I respectfully ask that we keep, you know, you keep us small hotel business owners in mind and keeping within the existing building code.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, my name's Angela Spinelli. I'm born and raised here. I also run a business in Woodstock. I live on 8th Lucille Lane. And I am a strong proponent of progress. I have seen and speak for the ebb and the flow over my 49 years of being a resident here that sometimes we do it right and sometimes we've gotten it wrong. And I think that one of the things that we need to have a realistic dialogue about is that I am related to someone that owns a 21-room hotel in the area, and at most they employ 10 employees, both full and part-time, at their busiest time of the year. So although they don't have their own cafe, I really think that 25 to 40 employees is probably way beyond, but I can't speak to, Craig has done a wonderful job building out Sylvia and Goodnight. I can't speak to his complete vision because I just don't know, but I think we need to talk about real numbers here. So maybe it's an opportunity for 10 to 20 employees. That's wonderful. We need great jobs in this area. But having tried to employ people and continuing to employ people in the area, it is very hard to find people and be able to pay them a wage such that they actually can live here. Most of them can't. Most of my employees drive in from Kingston, Saugerties, or they still live at home with their parents. So the notion of bringing jobs to the area, we're bringing jobs into the heart of Woodstock, but they're for people that don't live in this area. They live in Kingston, Saugerties, Olive, and although that is important, I think that we really do need to have an honest discussion of what a business like this actually is contributing. I'm a volunteer firefighter. I'm a volunteer EMT. I donate 1,000 hours a year to covering duty time. We don't have volunteers. This is my second night on duty because we don't have volunteer crew because people that would volunteer can't afford to live here. And so if we are going to bring these businesses of this magnitude to the area, yes, it's progress and it helps all of our businesses to grow, but we need to be realistic about the expectations and the demand on our highway department, on our fire and emergency services. We don't have the personnel unless we are going to go to a fully paid fire department to do this. So I would just ask that as you look at the broader picture, really look at the honest impact of every area and not just that it's 10, 20 jobs, because it's much more comprehensive than that.
Thank you. Anybody else here in the room to speak? Okay, Zoom land. Upper right corner on my, it's Claudia.
Hi, Claudia
If you
Guerrero.
can, thank you.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
A little louder if you can do it.
Okay. Right, hi. Okay, I'm Claudia Gorelick, 2697 Glasgow. So we've been here, I don't know, 45
You
years.
hear? We're having trouble. We had the volume really good. I don't know, it's always.
Yeah, my volume. Can you guys hear me now? If I yell a
It's
little?
better if you can speak slowly, distinctly, and right into your microphone. It would certainly help.
Okay, I'm going to talk the way my father always wanted me to by really articulating.
There you go.
So we're on Glasgow, right by Streeble for about 40 something years. And one of the things that I love about Woodstock, and that we loved about it is actually how difficult the building ordinances have been and how constrained it's been, because it has maintained a soul in Woodstock. And so I would really, although it does feel stifling, I think for some people, I think it has been what has allowed us not to become kind of the mallification of America that we've seen in other places, and one of the reasons that we all love it so much. So I really do have concerns in two areas. One is around traffic. Traffic has become, not only is it very trafficked, but because of people coming in who are not Woodstockers or kind of, you know, they're neighbors to Woodstock. It's a very different way that they're driving. There's a lot more speeding. There's a lot less kind of like, it makes it a lot harder and a lot more dangerous. And I think my concern is having this amount of traffic in the middle of town is concerning to me, because there is a high turnover, obviously, with a hotel. So you're looking at a minimum of 30 to 40 cars a day coming in, that in essentially in two streets. And that's a lot. The second thing that I just wanted to bring up is with the parking, I'm having a hard time seeing how there's room for 19 parking spaces in a place where, if you look at Catskill Pizza, they have 8 parking spaces, I think, maybe 10. In a space that feels probably maybe half the size. And if you're having outdoor seating as well, I'm not understanding how those 19 parking spaces will work. Plus, you need to be able to accommodate your workers. So it really would need to be closer to 26 to 28. So I'd love to be able to really understand those parking details, and also understanding how we're managing the traffic. The third thing I will say is that there is a lot of speculation that somehow one type of tourist edifice is going to detract from another, being that the hotel would detract from STRs. There's been no proven facts to that. We have no basis. There's no trending data around that. So I would just ask people to be really cautious before we're making those speculations. That's it.
Thank you, Claudia.
What's happening? It's not coming out of the studio.
It's not coming out.
It's only coming out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how to turn that up. Maybe there's a button on there. Anybody else in Zoom want to speak? All right, well, no.
Miss Janosch wanted to speak.
What's that, Michelle?
Miss Janosch wanted to speak.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi.
Sarah Janosch, you can speak.
Sarah Janosch here. Hi. Yeah, I did have a few concerns just listening. Hi. Because this actually at face value seemed to me better than what I just observed listening to the proposal. That was originally a residential proposal on Palomar. And I did speak with that investor, and still not buying it. So this did sound more interesting, but I just want to say I have concerns. I mean, this would be the third large obvious investment in our town from someone who has 2 of the most expensive restaurants in town. So as someone who has kids, you have to understand we want to keep this a family town. I agree with the person who spoke about having a hotel, motel looking down on their property. I understand wanting your kids to be able to run naked and swim in the kiddie pool. And I think to compare this to Leah Haas's business, the Garden Cafe, which is a historical building with 3 stories, and then compare it to what the Mud Club is, which, yes, that is a very different situation. Yes, there is loud music, and you know, whatever you agree with strippers or not strippers, that's not up for grabs with me. But yeah, it makes it different. It's not what it was in that sense. And I also did get to hang out on the rocks at Woodstock Way and jump into the water there. We can't even see it now because of the foliage that's been planted to prevent us from that. So I'm a pedestrian and I get to walk through town. I meet a lot of people. I talk to a lot of people who are concerned about this. I'm extremely concerned about the parking. And also, when we talk about Mud Club and their parking, when there's a delivery day for their wood, they do have wood-fired pizza, bagels. When there's wood delivered, when they have food delivered, it blocks up that whole road. I live on Tinker Street, and I'm down at the end where it's like where the sidewalk ends, where there are no sidewalks. When it rains, I have to put my phone on to show that, hi, I'm here. Please don't run me over. There's no safe place to walk. And the home that was purchased next to me promised it would be a single family home. It is no longer. It's going to have STRs and an ADU. Next door to me on the other side is Calamar Lane, where we got to hear how you better be careful of the residents, make friends with those residents, get it in writing, while I sat through that meeting. So it's a little nerve-wracking right now. I want to be your neighbor and a good neighbor. I understand you have children, but if you have children who go to school here, do they go to Woodstock Elementary? Do you want to keep our school open? We have a youth center, and in order to watch our kids march up and down the streets together and have fun and see the parents go visit our local parents, go visit these businesses when it's not the season, when you have whatever you said, 80 employees that you want to keep. We need that. We need our sidewalk community. I read a comment where a business owner says they receive better business from our locals. I shop locally as possible. It breaks my bank. I'm just trying to stay here. I'm looking for a roommate right now because I will stay here. But we cannot compare apples to oranges, saying that you want to create something that is, what did you call this? Different and interesting. Like, what is different and interesting coming in here with no plans? And I don't want to insult you, but I'm tired. And I marched up that hill on foot. I didn't mess up, but in some criminal way, but I'll never drive again. I'm disabled. I need to be in the sidewalk community. I need our Clean Streets Committee to get it together. I need our town board members to talk to each other and our committees to talk together and get on the same page. I need our.
We are talking, Sarah, and if we could wrap this up,
And
please,
that's it.
appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah,
All right, thank
I'm
you.
wrapping it, but I just
We are
want to see
listening
something
and we
better.
do talk.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, let's keep talking without
Yes.
having only quick time on the phone and gotta go. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm
Is
muted.
anybody else on Zoom that wishes to speak?
Brianna?
Hi, my name
Let's
is
keep it to
Brianna.
2 minutes if you could. I really appreciate it. Thank
Yeah.
you. The timing.
Myself, my husband, and my 4 children live behind the mobile station. We're 10 Mowers Lane. When we heard about this coming about, it was a lot of, concern for us. We have 4 children, all in school. This building is going to be towering our house and looking down into our area where our kids play. My husband and I, we have family barbecues outside. My sister-in-law lives there. Like, she's got her kids. It's a very narrow road as is. Our kids wait at the end of the road for the bus. So with all the extra traffic, it's like concerning that, how much, cars are going to be coming in and out. I don't personally think that a hotel motel needs to be 3 stories. I don't think that, if anybody lived where we live would appreciate, the construction, first of all, and second of all, the fact that it's going to be, this big thing. And, like Clara said, like there's a bar next door that we already have to tolerate. And I feel like that is a recipe for a disaster. Having a hotel next to a bar and, it's a lot, and we have 4 children, and as parents and people who have lived in town for many, many years, we want to be able to protect our rights and be able to protect our children's privacy as well as our own. So I think that it would be great if you guys could really consider the fact that there is neighbors behind this property and children, and we would like to protect that as much as humanly possible.
All right, Brandon, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody else in Zoom land that wants to talk? No other hands up in Zoom? All right, gentlemen, I'll let you just, close it out. If you have any,
Sure.
You want to say in response to some of the.
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone for showing up and voicing their opinions and concerns. And I completely understand how this project may make some people think, whoa, what's going on? It's a change. All I can say is that I'm here to listen to any concerns. If there's anything that I can do to make those alleviate those concerns regarding the project, I'm completely open to any conversation about that regarding fencing, plantings, whatever it takes to protect people's property, if that's a concern, and whatever it is, just to discuss whatever it is anybody wants to regarding this project. It's a day, the rooms would be for people to stay in the evening. There's no nightlife, there's no bar, there's nothing like that in the hotel. It is just a cafe and rooms where people sleep. That is the plan. There's no plan for anything later than 6 o'clock at night. Just in case people were thinking it was going to be something more than that. That's not the plan. And we are open to talk to anybody who has any concerns, and I would welcome them anytime. You can find me online, Facebook, or anything like that. We're open, and I hear your concerns. They're valid, and I appreciate you bringing them tonight. And we'll continue the conversation as to where this goes. And that's all I can say. Thank you, Craig.
Thank you, Tom. Okay, with that,
Alex, he was on the list to talk. He just raised his hand again. He got off and just got back on. So Alex, you can speak now.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, on Zoom.
Okay, this is
You got 2 minutes.
Let me go in front of the thing.
It's actually a lot of time.
Okay, my name is Susan Micklejohn.
Please keep down, it's hard to hear.
Oh, okay. Where's that microphone?
Speak loudly if you can, please.
Okay, this is Susan Micklejohn, Dr. Susan Micklejohn. I'm a retired professor of urban planning. For 12 years, I worked in site planning and urban design and historic preservation. What I taught was a little bit different, more sociological, but I'm really concerned that there's a request for 3 variances that have to do with the mass of the building, the lot coverage, and the height. Before there's no plans, there's no elevations, there's nothing for us to look at. There's no way to understand how the building will be on the site, along with, as someone previously said, at least 25 parking spaces. I took a walk there this morning and I looked at the former Catskill Art Building. They have 11 parking spaces that pretty much cover the same amount of area as the entire site of the former gas station. I don't understand this is the last thing, I'll say it again, how anyone seeking development would go seek variances without some alternative plans and elevations. There's just no way to understand what you're trying to
Tell her
do.
that I did
Thank
submit
you.
Thank you. Well, go ahead.
Well, I actually did submit that, Alec. They do have plans with a site plan and with elevations, floors, exactly how the project could look. So the town does in fact have those things that you just mentioned.
Can we see them? How do we see them?
That's a question for
Michelle.
Michelle. They have them.
You can send an email to zba@woodstockny.org. I just wrote all the information in the chat, and I can send you the full application tomorrow.
Okay, thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Okay. Is there anybody else who wishes to speak on this topic
I
tonight?
have one question, actually.
Yeah, one question, yes.
So I know for a lot of us that own businesses in town, in order to have the occupancy that we have, we've had to, or our landlord, in my case, landlord, had to purchase public parking sites on the road so that the businesses in the complex could have their occupancy. I'm wondering if this falls into that same circumstance, and if so, how many parking spots can we sell and resell without a larger scope of project that would involve more municipal parking, et cetera? Because I just know, again, from owning a business that doesn't have a large occupancy, that it is a real struggle for parking at certain times of the day and a lot of the year. And so I'm just wondering if we're taking that all into consideration, because
We don't really, that's a planning board issue, but it is one of the criteria that we would investigate, but we don't go into full, we don't go into, that's more of a planning board.
Okay.
I can
I was
answer
gonna
that.
say, but you're making a really good point, because the town has been doing this for a long time. Where you have this fee in lieu of parking, but hasn't really created more parking. So where does that money go? Where are all the parking spaces? It's a good point, but it's not us. That would be the town board.
Okay, I just, yeah, it's within the scope of
Sure,
this
yeah.
project, so that's why I was asking.
No, it is consideration, but not,
Yes,
and we would take it as part of our 5 criteria,
right.
but it's not something we would
We
deal
control,
with. Yeah.
we don't.
And I would respond to that, Angela, like, that lot is gonna get developed into something.
100%.
So that there will have to be some parking paid for to the town for that specific lot, whatever it is. It's really the last lot in Woodstock that can be developed.
Unless it becomes a parking.
Well, you know, and so I think I agree with your point. It's an honest point that makes a lot of sense. Like, you know, it's another X amount of cars that will be paying for that parking. But I think the 19 or whatever cars is that comes for the weekend, I mean, it's a drop in the bucket for the thousands of people that visit every day on the weekend here.
Right, it's just a systemic problem that keeps getting kicked down to
No,
the
I-
next person and the next person.
no,
So Craig, this isn't
I
a Craig issue,
agree.
this is a Woodstock issue, just like the fire rescue is a Woodstock issue. Folks, I've been in your businesses and your homes, and I'm not violating any people laws, because I'm not saying where I've been, but we rely on volunteers. We have paid paramedics, that's it. The people that drive the fire trucks, people that drive the ambulances, we volunteer our time. If we are not bringing residents that can live in this town that are willing or able to volunteer, no one is putting out your structure fire, and no one is coming to your heart attack, and so we really have to have a strategic plan here that addresses the town as a living organism, not just a single entity that's a hotel build or another restaurant build. It's really a systemic town community issue that we really need to address. And again, I realize it's beyond the scope of the zoning.
And you also realize we're volunteers too.
100%, yes, but it's a huge demand. Your commitment is a huge commitment, so
Thank you.
again, we're all sort of in this same quagmire, trying to figure out the best way to row out of it and get through it, because we need progress, right? we have to continue to
Well, have
evolve.
you ever thought about running for the town board?
No, but.
Okay, so beyond that, I hear what you're saying, and some pretty good stuff. but
Gordon,
I'm getting
Max,
I'm
that's
getting there.
perfect.
I'm getting there, and if I can get out of it, I'm gonna do my best.
Thank you.
And not to cut anybody off, but we are going into an area. Is there anybody else, Michelle? This is gonna be last
Gordon.
call.
Gordon, this is
Joe
Joe. I
wants to
just,
talk though.
Joe, you good? Yeah, always for you, buddy.
okay, I wanted to say two quick things. Michelle, there's been a lot of comments in the chat. I don't know if there's a way to
Yes.
capture them for us so that we can read through them when we have more time. And I just wanted to underscore the point that the variance request goes with the property, not with the owner. I'm saying that because if we were to grant the variance and there would be a change of ownership, that variance would still run with this property. So it's not really about who the owners are or what their commitment is to the town or what other businesses they have. It's about that piece of property and, whether it could be sold to a chain hotel at some point or another owner. So I just want to underscore that point because it's not really about who the applicant is. It's about the property.
Well put, Joseph.
Thank you.
And with
And
that,
Gordon, for the record,
I think I'm gonna be,
Saying something?
what, Michelle?
For the record, I just want to read the emails that we received.
Okay.
We received emails in support from Abby Aronson, Terrence Hughes, Elizabeth Monks, Tom Hopkins, Rachel DeSario, Max Kimlin, Roy Carries, Vito DeSario, Derek Doshner, sorry if I'm butchering these last names, and Barris Demerel. And we received two emails with questions and not in full support, actually a little against the project. And those came from Joe Spinelli and Helen DeVoe. Thank
Yes,
you.
we have all those.
We have them all.
We have them all.
We do read them.
I know, I just wanted to state it for the record that we did receive them.
Thank you, Michelle. Okay, with that, what we do is we'll close the public hearing or recess the case. We'll deliberate. and we'll
Can I
go.
ask if it's Kimlin of Kimlin Fuel, please, before you close?
Yes,
Go ahead.
yes, it is.
What?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That was my
Is
only
it
question.
Kimlin-
Thank you.
Kimlin Fuel? Is that who sent the letter?
Thank you. I wanted,
Oh, okay.
thank you very much for answering. Thank you.
So we have 62 days to render a decision. We'll do our best to, our best alacrity to plow through it and get it done. So there's that.
Okay.
We're not always sure when we're gonna, you can always check on the Friday. We meet on the second and fourth Thursday of the month. You can always check in on those contiguous Fridays with Michelle.
Okay.
To see if we voted on it,
And would
It's just
that,
we don't always know if we're gonna vote on something until we get it all together. Sometimes we table things, so we never know when we're actually gonna vote on things.
would it be in a public forum or would it be you just tell me when you've just made your
Well,
decision?
it'll be, we do it in public. If we had votes tonight, we would vote after this public hearings.
Okay.
So, but we won't be opening the public hearing yet.
Okay, so you'll just inform me of your decision as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Short story, yes.
You can always go on Zoom.
Huh?
You can always log into Zoom.
Sure.
I like, maybe you can check with her, see
Yeah.
the status on Fridays after our meeting.
Yeah, that's easy.
But she'll get the email out right away.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate your time.
Can you move to close the public hearing? I'm moving to close the public hearing. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. So we're going to recess case number
2401.
2401. This is our first case of the year. That's an easy one. 2401. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, is there any other, before the board, I know Martin wants to go out and take a look at 35 Tannery.
I was gonna pull the emails, but I didn't, but I'll compose an email to everybody.
So if everybody take a look at that, he's got some questions, maybe talk to Martin if you can. Joseph said he was gonna take a look. Stephen, if you get a chance to go by 35 Tannery book, take a look at that case. He was asking for a little input from that, so if you could do that, that'd be great.
Sure.
I don't have to open the case to talk about that, so. Okay, everybody, let's, we got about 4 outstanding decisions, 5 including most sample, so, we've got work to do. Gentlemen, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, without any, objection, I'd like to adjourn tonight's meeting.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question?
Yes.
So Aldi Printing Fair, Apples, was here 2 weeks ago. When are you guys gonna deliberate about our case? Because I saw it listed.
We're not gonna, we won't be speaking publicly about it properly in the case unless we have particulars to talk about. That, I don't know how you got that. It's just an outstanding decision. It's always on our agenda, it's an outstanding decision.
So,
but it's not, we're not gonna, we talk one-on-one because it doesn't break the quorum. We rarely bring up something in public again, because we're not allowed to have a public hearing without giving 2 weeks' notice. So that public hearing is closed, so we won't be speaking about that case at any board meetings in particular. Everybody's welcome. We told everybody who came here in support that they're welcome to give us emails and letters, support or against, to the town. But other than that, no, we won't be.
Okay.
Because we have to put out a notice if we're going to do a public hearing.
Well, it's still a public meeting.
No,
and you can.
no, we can't talk about the case in the public with you. We're not gonna, and somebody here wants to bring it up, I'll entertain it, but I don't think anybody wants to bring it up.
Deliberate amongst yourselves in public.
No, that's not true. As long as we don't break the quorum, no, that's not how it works. You've been misinformed. Nothing would get done if we had to do everything in public. I was on the town board for 4 years. There would not be a highway garage, there would not be a cell tower, there would not be a lot of things if we had to do everything in public. Or we'd be here all night doing marathon meetings.
No,
It takes a
I'm
lot
not
of work
talking
behind
about
the
a public
scenes.
hearing, I'm talking about at a public meeting, the board is.
And that's not the way it works. You've been misinformed.
I don't think so, but.
No, you have, believe me. I've been doing this a long time. Probably you were playing Little League when I was doing
I
this,
mean,
so.
this is all I do every day, so. I
Me
spend
too.
a lot of time doing it.
Me too.
I
Don't
do
lie.
have hard copies.
We do not have to always discuss things in public. As long as we don't have a quorum, I can meet you for lunch and we can talk about this case all day. There's nothing wrong with that. We don't have a quorum.
I mean, that's not the open meetings law.
That is the open meetings law, sir.
Yes, it has to be a quorum, otherwise we can discuss.
We can discuss it
As long as
ad
we-
infinitum. We've looked into this so many times. Ask Mr. Stockford. I'm sure he'd agree.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's just the way it is. If we had a meeting.
Not to put you on the spot.
What you should have done is put the public whole meeting on hold, hold the chair, and you could have had a further discussion. You have to have a forum in order to have, if you have a forum, you can't have a vote.
Well, we closed the public hearing.
We took a lot of.
We've had 2 public hearings so far. The same case.
I asked her.
All right, well, I have hard
You
copies
asked
of the
her to do it
submission.
for you.
I told
Okay.
I make
Al I
a
was gonna
request.
drop them
Thank you.
off today.
I don't want you to
That we
think
made
that I'm.
electronically.
Can we leave submissions, we can leave right here, nobody's coming here tonight. That's fine, we do accept submissions, so.
Or.
Okay, Michelle, do you have that? We have some stuff here for you.
Yeah, I sent an email out stating that I had printed it out, that if anybody wanted to see it, they could come and review it.
Okay, did we adjourn?
Did we adjourn?
No.
Yes.
I'd like to, without further ado, do you have a second?
Stephen.
All in favor? Aye. Stephen, welcome aboard, good to have you.
Welcome, Stephen.
Bye-bye.